Hello, friends. You are welcome to Anchor Network, where you get updates of things happening around you. I appreciate every one of you that have subscribed to this channel. And if you have not subscribed, I say thank you very much, because I know that at the end of this news, you are going to subscribe. And I want you to press the red button and also the bell icon so that you'll be notified anytime we publish any news. Thank you very much once again. Why I dealt with Onoghen, PMBCs. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that he dealt with the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Justice Walter Onoghen, because of his failure to declare his assets as prescribed by the Constitution. The president said this while hosting the leadership of the Pan-Yoruba Sociocultural Group, Afenifere, led by its chairman, Pa Ayo Fasomi. The delegation included the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and other notable leaders from the southwest. Buhari, in his remarks, told the visitors about his administration's achievements in his first tenure, which included achievements in securing the country, repositioning the economy, and fighting corruption. While acknowledging some degrees of progress in securing the country, the president admitted that there was still much more to do in that direction. On his fight against corruption, the president said his administration was recovering stolen properties as much as it could, stressing that such proceeds of corruption recovered would be sold off to safeguard the possibility of subsequent administration from returning them to the looters. He said, "Now what I do is when a person cannot justify what he has or fails to declare as the Constitution specifies, some of them swear to Almighty God that their property doesn't belong to them until we show them their bank accounts and their companies. Then we have some peace." He continued, "I will tell you as Afenifere that was why I had to deal through reluctantly with the former justice, because there were millions of dollars, euros, not to talk of naira, which were not declared. I wonder what sort of conscience some of us have. How can you sit and preside and lock people up for years and even sentence some to death, and yet you are not doing what the Constitution says you should do by occupying the vital position?" The Afenifere, in a presentation made by Senator Olabi Idurujaye, demanded that the president increase the number of policemen and make them to be spread across the 774 local governments of the country. The group also demanded that the president introduces free, universal, and compulsory education across the country, youth employment through federalism, and increased investment in power supply and agriculture. Asked what the next level portended for Nigeria, Tinubu, who spoke to State House correspondents after the meeting, said, "You have economic pros you have economic progress that we are working for as a party. We have the diversity of the economic itself. We have the various scale of thinking that the Economic Council will have to bring about, the infrastructural deficit, poverty, security. Those are the things that we will put emphasis on. You know it, I know it. There is infrastructural deficit across the country, and without infrastructure, you cannot governize the country. You have the question of electricity that is critical to industrialization and economic growth." The APC national leader added that the Yoruba elders were not clannish but want to build a nation where its diversity would translate into prosperity. No matter what, we have nothing but one country, and that is the only way we can stimulate growth and understanding among various nationalities. It is not by division. It is not by promoting religious conflict, religious differences. Nobody has control when we were born, what they will be, how they will be raised, and how their faith will affect their lives, and we must remove that from our political setting. Set aside, build a nation, and concentrate on trust and development, he added. Yeah, this is a good one from the president. When our Ferry group visited him, they went there for their own demands, the way they want the country to go. But I saw that the president had to digress a bit, talking about Justice Onoghen, the former CGN, how he dealt with him, because the president is talking about the irregularities and the abnormalities about the former CGN, that he didn't do the right thing well, because you as a justice, have to make sure your hands are clean. You can't be jailing people, you can't be locking people up, and what you are supposed to do, as regards to constitution, you are not doing it. That means you are not fit to be in that position. That is what the president is trying to say. So I think the president himself needs to look at himself, you know search his conscience, that if himself really is doing the right thing, because we have a lot of controversial issues on him. When you talk of his educational qualification, he's been going back and forth. I learned that the court has given him 5 days to respond to that allegation, which has really been going on even before the election, and there's a lot of doubts about the certificate, even if it has not been proved. But from a layman perspective, everybody could pinpoint what actually has really been happening. So if you are accusing somebody because you have the opportunity to preside over the country or over other arms of government, that doesn't make you a sense either. Nobody's justifying what Onoghen has done. But from all the reports that we got before the man voluntarily retired, which they really accepted to that, when the old saga came in the beginning, or at the beginning, the way the presidency painted this Onoghen, everybody would have thought, this man has really taking all the resources of the whole country, or even of the whole world. But at the end of the day, when they brought out some things, it was not really commensurate with the way they really hyped the whole thing. But if anybody is found guilty of anything, you go in for it. That's just it. And because we want a cleaner environment, a saner environment, and that was why we brought this president, based on his antecedents, based on what people said, he has done, based on his pedigree, and to crown it all, they talk about integrity. But we found out that most of the time, those things are not really there. It's like just paying lip services. A lot of people are even regretting that, what really made them to even think that this Buhari would have been the best person to even fight this corruption. People were like, with all the things that they were even thinking, that it could be, people were really looking at what he did, what happened when he was during when he was leading, when he was the head of state, when he works with Idiagbon. People were like, it could be that it's Idiagbon that was doing the whole thing. That everybody just tried, kind of surprised that, the man, the way we painted this man, or the way we were thinking about this man, is not the way, with what we are seeing. Checking out the cabas, walking around him, it's like he doesn't even have say. So only God knows what is really happening. So if you are talking about Onoghen, you need to check yourself as well. Of what impact have you really made in this country? Because we are seeing a lot of things that are really going, upside down. Now he's talking about security, that he has done well, he has done this. I don't know who feeds him back. I don't know whether he sees. I don't know whether he goes out to see things for himself. I don't think so, because if he does, he wouldn't have been saying all of these things. Of course, I wouldn't expect him to say otherwise. He would want to praise himself. He would want to say he has done well, just like his VP went to the US to say, the issue of security is not the way it is, that people are just trying to blow the whole thing out of proportion, that it's not as big as people at the diaspora, the way they see it. So, and everybody has really come out for him. Of course, they're going to praise themselves that, okay, this is what they have done. So, guys, that's just my own submission. I would like you guys to put down your comments below on your take on this matter, on how he said he dealt with Onoghen. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.